Today, about 3 months into the year, the city of Madison experienced our first homicide.
Right now in 10, a shooting in broad daylight right in the heart of downtown Madison. We have an update from police on the scene.
Someone was just shot in the head outside of the building here, 211 South Carroll. Gunshot wound to the head. Suspect vehicle outbound on Wilson.
Thank you for joining us tonight. The Madison's police chief calls it a brazen shooting in broad daylight, only a block from the Capitol, right between the sheriff and police departments on South Carroll Street. The victim in this case rushed to the hospital but died of his injuries. He's only being identified tonight as a man in his 30s.
A short while later, near the Alliant Energy Center, police say 2 persons of interest were taken into custody. Our Tahlil Mohadeen live on the scene of that shooting now with the very latest from police. Tahlil?
It was right up this hill on this sidewalk in front of the Dane County Jail where that man was shot multiple times. Now, police have since cleared this area. They did so about a half hour ago. But for roughly 4 hours, this block was completely closed off. Now, police say the man, who we know was in his 30s, was walking down South Carroll Street when he was shot. Witnesses say officers at the scene initiated chest compressions, and then he was taken into an ambulance into a hospital where he later died. Now, given how close Madison headquarters are just across the street, Chief Sean Barnes says some of his officers heard the gunshots.
We know I won't miss words. It is very brazen. It's something that's very concerning to me, and it should be concerning to everyone that someone would do this in daytime in between the sheriff's department and the police department.
Barnes says the people taken into custody are at this time considered persons of interest and not suspects. The 2 were found on Rimrock Road near John Nolan Drive. He also says the family of the victim has been helping with the investigation, and officers are trying to comfort them.
Our thoughts and my prayers go out to the victim and his family members as well. Their life was forever changed today by an act of gun violence, which is totally acceptable in our community.
Barnes is also thanking his officers for their quick response and says at this time they will be increasing patrols. Now, police say they don't yet know if this was a target incident or what the motive was, but they are still investigating. We are expecting to hear from them again tomorrow. But for now, reporting live in downtown Madison, Tahlil Mohadeen, News 3 Now.
And as Tahlil just mentioned, we are expecting to get additional information on the case tomorrow. Be sure to download our Channel 3000 News app and be the first to know.
Next at 10, the weather story. Accumulating snowfall expected overnight and tomorrow morning, prompting an alert day. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti has our certified most accurate forecast.
Well, right now in the backyard, just a little bit of drizzle or some very light rain, but that will change to snow later on tonight. We do have an alert day in the forecast overnight into early tomorrow morning for rain that will change to snow. We could be looking at about 1 to 4 inches of slushy snow accumulation from Dane County and areas to the north and west. Now, as we look at Doppler track, you can see the next surge of rain now moving into far southwestern Wisconsin, but notice how it's already starting to change over to snow through central Iowa. So in the short term, we're just looking at rain here. That changeover probably won't occur until about maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. High temperatures today were in the lower to middle 50s. It hit 57 for a high in Janesville, whereas to the north and west, temperatures stayed around 40. Right now, temperatures are in the upper 30s in Madison, still in the 40s to our south and east, but to the northwest, temperatures are getting closer to freezing. And on future track, you can see how that rain starts to change over to snow by around 2 or 2:30 in the morning, as mainly snow through the early morning hours, and then gradually just works its way down to some snow showers and flurries. There are winter weather advisories for Dane County and areas to the north from 4 a.m. until noon tomorrow. So look for rain to change to snow overnight. The heavy burst of snow will be late tonight into very early tomorrow morning, then just a chance of snow showers and flurries during the day with a high of 35. Later on, I'll take a look and see if there's any more accumulating snow in the forecast.
Thank you, Gary. Madison street crews say they'll be out as soon as the snow starts falling and are reminding everyone to take it slow during the morning commute. And stay up to date with your local weather with our Channel 3000 First Warn weather app. Forecasts, notifications, and interactive radars all for free.
In Rock County today, Beloit police say they have a 19-year-old in custody in connection with the fatal shooting at a high school parking lot earlier this year. Amari Goodall, who is from Madison, was arrested today after getting a tip about his whereabouts. The shooting happened January 29th in the parking lot at Beloit Memorial High School after a basketball game. 19-year-old Jayon Broomfield was shot, later died at the hospital. Goodall will need to be extradited on the charge of first-degree reckless homicide before he can appear in Rock County Court. A 37-year-old man has been arrested for allegedly setting fire to one of the tiny homes in a homeless encampment on the city's east side yesterday. The man turned himself in last night, now facing tentative charges of arson, making threats to law enforcement, as well as an outstanding warrant. Video reportedly shows him throwing wooden pallets into the home before it caught fire, caused about $15,000 in damage.
New at 10, a man is in the hospital tonight with potentially life-threatening injuries after being stabbed in Monona on Westgate Road this evening. Police say they have taken one person into custody on a parole violation, and the investigation is ongoing. Also new tonight at 10, a Dane County judge is ordering Wisconsin Assembly Speaker Robin Vos be held in contempt for failing to produce emails and text messages related to the investigation he ordered into the 2020 presidential election. The judge wrote Vos and the state assembly, quote, have chosen to willfully violate a court order and are held in contempt.
Next at 10, making telehealth more accessible. That's the latest initiative from the governor's office. The state investing $5 million in grants for the cause. Governor Evers was in Merrill this morning for that announcement.
Our ability to serve people in the state has always been limited by, frankly, the number of healthcare providers, but also people having access and affordable access to it. And so we're very hopeful that this grant program will make a significant difference, especially in rural Wisconsin.
Funded by the American Rescue Plan Act, half of that $5 billion will be used for child psychiatric services. The other half will be for health providers to establish access points. President Biden this afternoon receiving a second COVID-19 booster after delivering a speech urging lawmakers to secure more funding for his administration's COVID-19 response. Currently, second booster shots are only authorized for people 50 and older.
The battle against COVID is moving in the right direction. The CDC published its ensemble forecast today, predicting the average number of daily deaths will drop over the next 4 weeks. Still, more than 14,000 people are expected to die in that time. And for those itching to get back on a cruise ship, good news from the CDC. Today, it dropped its risk assessment of cruise travel. For more than 2 years now, health officials have been warning people not to go on a cruise. But for now, the CDC is giving them the green light.
According to a new Marquette Law School poll, 2 out of 3 people nationally support Ketanji Brown Jackson being confirmed to the United States Supreme Court. That poll surveyed more than 1,000 people nationwide, conducted earlier this month during and after her confirmation hearings. And also today, U.S. Senator Republican Susan Collins of Maine has become the first Republican to openly support Judge Jackson's nomination. Here's what the senator had to say.
In the end, I decided that she had the qualifications, the experience, and the credentials that we require of a Supreme Court justice and warranted my support.
Senator Collins said while she did not always agree with Judge Jackson's conclusions, when looking at her case history, she's confident Jackson took the time to reach those decisions in a detailed and thoughtful manner.
And U.S. officials say there's growing tension between Russian President Vladimir Putin and his top advisors over the Russian army's performance in Ukraine. Meanwhile, hopes that talks between the countries could help ease Russia's onslaught are dimming. Skylar Henry reports.
According to the White House, U.S. intelligence officials believe Russian President Vladimir Putin is being misled about his military's performance in Ukraine.
We believe he's being misinformed by his advisors about how badly the Russian military is performing and how the Russian economy is being crippled by sanctions because, again, his senior advisors are too afraid to tell him the truth.
Russia intensified shelling Wednesday despite pledging to scale back operations around Kyiv, the capital, and Chernihiv in Ukraine's north.
If the Russians were really serious about de-escalating and the way they spun this yesterday, that they're trying to take the pressure off, well, then send them home. And that's not what they're doing.
The Pentagon says less than 20% of troops around Kyiv have been repositioned.
There's still a majority of the forces that Mr. Putin put around Kyiv are still there.
In the suburb of Irpin, emergency workers retrieved bodies from the rubble. Women and children took shelter under a bridge. Here on Capitol Hill, a top general in the European Command testified the war in Ukraine could prompt changes in American strategy on the continent.
This is an opportunity as a result of this senseless act on behalf of Russia to re-examine the permanent military architecture that exists not only in Eastern Europe, but in our air policing activity in aviation and in our standing naval maritime groups.
In a phone call Wednesday, President Biden told Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky that an additional $500 million in aid to Ukraine was on its way. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
As the human toll climbs, the UN's refugee agency says more than 4 million people have now fled Ukraine, and that includes about 2 million children. More than a dozen law enforcement agencies in Iowa showing their support for Ukraine. They've collected hundreds of pieces of much-needed equipment for them, including body armor, vests, helmets, and ballistic shields. The state is working with the Consulate General of Ukraine in Chicago to help with the collection, coordination, and shipment of the items to Europe.
Police in Israel ramping up security after another deadly attack, the third now in just a week. 5 people were killed in a shooting overnight. Cell phone video shows a man armed with an assault rifle unleashing terror in an ultra-Orthodox neighborhood near Tel Aviv. When it was over, 3 Israelis and 2 men from Ukraine were dead. Police also killed the gunman, who they say was a Palestinian reportedly working a construction job in that area. Security forces raided a West Bank village, arresting a handful of possible accomplices. This is Israel's third deadly attack in a week. Police say the other killings were carried out by Palestinian citizens of Israel who were inspired by ISIS.
Continuing coverage tonight, the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences says it asked actor Will Smith to leave Sunday's Oscar Awards after slapping Chris Rock on stage, but he refused to do so. The Academy's board met today to initiate disciplinary proceedings against Smith. They say disciplinary action could include suspension, expulsion, or other sanctions. The family of actor Bruce Willis today revealing he's suffering from a medical condition that's affecting his cognitive abilities and is retiring from acting. Willis was recently diagnosed with aphasia. It's a condition that impacts the ability to communicate and can be caused by a stroke, head injury, a brain tumor, or a disease. And more entertainment news, Tom Parker, a member of British-Irish boy band The Wanted, has died. His wife confirmed the news today, saying the 33-year-old had been suffering from a brain tumor. Parker shared the news of his diagnosis back in 2020. Since then, The Wanted released a greatest hits album and performed a stand-up to cancer gig. Well, still to come tonight, Gary will update us on tonight's forecast as accumulating snowfall moves in.
But first, how you can be featured this year at Lambeau Field. News for now at 10. We'll return after this.
With broken supply chains and lives disrupted, businesses like Amazon have invested to deliver on time for you and help hundreds of thousands of small businesses gain access to millions of online shoppers. But Washington politicians have a law that could break Prime's guaranteed 2-day free delivery and threaten our fragile economic recovery. Tell your senators, don't break our Prime. Oppose S 2992. Paid for by CCIA.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
I'm Rebecca, and you might know me from reality TV.
And this was my stubborn body fat that I just couldn't get rid of. But then I went to Sono Bello, and they permanently removed my body fat in just one visit.
It is so intensely gratifying for one visit to make this big of a change. It's amazing.
Sono Bello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells permanently on your stomach, hips and thighs, back, and so much more.
It feels incredible to look down and it's flat. Thank you again, Sono Bello. I'm so happy.
Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation and find out how you can get $250 off instantly. Call 1-800-595-1532 or go to sonobello.com.
Whether you have a design emergency or you just want to shop the best furniture showroom in town, you need Dwellings, Madison's best kept secret for design and furniture. Shop our fabulous showroom, Hard Rock Road, Fitchburg.
A new shop in the 608 is ready to serve when your taste buds scream for ice cream.
Josh Breider has the scoop on some sweet specialties you have to see to believe.
More snow is on the way for the rush hour. We're going to track this together tomorrow morning from 4:30 to 7.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. Good news for people looking for a place to pick up a paycheck. There are plenty of jobs available. Employers in the U.S. added 455,000 private sector jobs in March, according to the ADP employment report that was released today. That's a little higher than analysts expected, but was still lower than February's report. Airbus says its A380 has completed 2 trial flights powered on cooking oil. Both flights were in France. The test airplane finished a 3-hour flight on Friday. The super jumbo jet had a second test flight yesterday. Airbus hopes to get its aircraft certified to fly on the sustainable aviation fuel by the end of the decade.
NASA astronaut Mark Vande Hei and the 2 Russian cosmonauts are back on Earth and in good shape. The craft landed in Kazakhstan this morning. Recovery crews were on hand to help the crew get out of the capsule. The astronauts will soon be heading to their native countries. Vande Hei's 355-day mission broke the record for the longest single space flight by a U.S. astronaut. And take a look at this. NASA also showing off a new image today taken from the Hubble Space Telescope. They say it shows the most distant single star it has ever observed. Nicknamed Arundel, it's glimmering 28 billion light years away. Scientists say it is the oldest detection of a star yet, estimating it was created 900 million years after the Big Bang.
Late last night, Madison's Common Council unanimously approved a permanent version of the city's popular streetery program. It was first introduced during the pandemic and has been extended multiple times since due to its popularity. And the Dane County Farmers Market is set to start its outdoor season on April 16th. This year marks 50 years for the market, which started in 1972 with just 5 farmers selling their products on the Capitol Square. It's now the largest producers-only farmers market in the U.S.
The Packers are giving fans a chance to be featured at Lambeau Field. It's for the Packers Everywhere Fan Favorite Contest. Fans can submit a photo to PackersEverywhere.com through April 19th. The winning photo will be displayed around Lambeau Field, including on the marquee signs during a game next season. The winner will also receive 2 tickets to the game with airfare and hotel included. Well, people interested in becoming severe weather spotters getting their chance for some training today in Madison. National Weather Service hosting a pair of seminars at Madison College. Dane County Emergency Management says this training is absolutely critical due to the increasing concerns with severe weather.
And some of that severe weather moving through parts of the South today. Extensive damage being reported in parts of Arkansas. 7 people were hurt in Springdale when the storm hit early this morning. This is video of the city's elementary school, which took a direct hit. And in Mississippi, a large tree snapped and crashed outside the governor's mansion in Jackson. The tree fell onto the roadway on the west side of the residence, causing some damage to a fence and its foundation. There have been no reported injuries at this time. And Gary Canalti joins us now, and you've been keeping an eye on this weather too for the last 24 hours.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be bad down to the south. Of course, we're on the northern side of the system. We're going to end up with some snow later tonight, but the severe weather really raking the south. These are all the severe weather reports over the last 24 hours from Tennessee, or from Texas and Oklahoma into western Kentucky and Tennessee. A lot of tornado reports through parts of Mississippi and Alabama. We showed you that severe weather outlook earlier. Now the threat primarily over Alabama. Moderate risk of severe thunderstorms over southwestern Alabama, an enhanced risk into parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. There are several tornado warnings on this line of thunderstorms. In fact, an extremely large and dangerous tornado near the Talladega National Forest right now. So unfortunately, we're going to see more devastation through that part of the country. We're on the northern side of the system. We have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow morning for a brief burst of snow, probably between about 3 and 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. It'll be a short burst, but enough to perhaps bring anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of snow from Madison northward. South of Madison, probably lesser amounts of snow that will melt pretty quickly, but it all depends on how quickly the snow falls and the surface temperatures, because it'll still be fairly mild overnight, and so the snow initially may melt as it hits the ground. But winter weather advisories in effect for Dane, Iowa, and Jefferson counties and areas to the north from 4 a.m. until noon tomorrow. On Doppler Doppler track right now, the next surge of moisture arriving in the form of rain, but notice not far out to the west, it's starting to change over, or at least mix with snow, and then eventually changing over to snow. So again, the moisture moves in first, the colder air moves in second. It's that timing right in between that gives us the best chances for any accumulating snow in that narrow window from, say, around 3 a.m. to about 7 or 8 in the morning. High temperatures today, lower 50s here, but to the south, upper 70s south of the Ohio River, where the severe weather threat has been highest. To the northwest, temperatures have stayed in the 30s, and right now you can see the colder air now starting to wrap into southern Wisconsin while it's still 57 in Chicago. So that temperature contrast and the very powerful jet streams, just surging moisture from the Gulf of Mexico northward. But the main part of the storm now is just past to the east of Madison, so the cold front has come through. Our winds have shifted around to the west, so the precipitation will eventually start changing over to snow as the colder air wraps around the system. Temperatures right now still in the 50s in Chicago, 40s in Milwaukee, 30s here in Madison, and then getting closer to freezing the farther out to the west you go. So again, winter weather advisory in effect from 4 a.m. until noon for Dane County nearest to the north. Juneau and Adams County, the advisory runs until 10 a.m. The precipitation will stop a little bit earlier there. 32 for the overnight low temperature as rain changes to snow, and again, by morning there could be as much as 1 to 4 inches of snow. Tomorrow, early morning snow, then just a chance of snow showers or flurries during the day, windy and colder with a high of 35. So here comes the rain. Look what happens by about 2 a.m. It starts changing over to snow out to the west, and then that's that narrow window. This is 6 a.m. snow through much of the area. By 10 a.m., most of the snow is east of Madison and pretty much gone by late afternoon with temperatures in the mid-30s. Snow amounts 1 to perhaps as much as 3 or 4 inches north of Madison. South of Madison, that snow should melt pretty quickly even if it does accumulate. Temperatures, though, stay chilly. Another chance of rain or snow Saturday, and then some rain showers for the first part of next week. Temperatures, though, stay below normal through the end of next week.
And coming up in sports, another day, another honor for Johnny Davis. But when's the Big Ten Player of the Year going to make that big decision? The answer is next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Save big on gas Friday, April 1st during Hy-Vee's annual April Fuels Day sale. Earn a 50-cent fuel saver for every $50 purchase. Spend $100, get $1 off per gallon of gas. Friday, April 1st, only at Hy-Vee.
Give your home an update, inside and out, with 11% off everything at Menards. Find your style with over 1,000 Patriot lighting fixtures. Save 11% on all Patriot lighting, like this Dryden 4-light chandelier. Whether you're adding extra security to your exterior door or simply updating a new lever, Menards offers 100 styles and 6 finish options of quick set, lock sets, levers, and deadbolts. Now all 11% off.
Save big money at Menards.
I love my new home. I always wanted a house with historic architecture, but it might be too Victorian.
Gosh, interesting hemline on those pants.
Yes, I do believe they're called pants.
Pardon me.
No, pardon me. At least Geico makes bundling my home and car insurance easy. I save so much.
I have come to call upon...
Just text me. Well, I'm heading up.
It's a ghost.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
It's called self-care.
He's turned on working families again. Ron Johnson said no to bringing new jobs to Wisconsin. Now he's supporting the Republican plan that phases out Social Security and Medicare and increases taxes on middle-class families.
Time for Democrat Alex Lasry. Lasry says let's get more money into working people's pockets and cut their taxes. No wonder so many unions say Alex Lasry is the strongest Democrat to beat Ron Johnson.
I'm Alex Lasry, and I approve this message. At Weedman Lawn Care, we believe that a lush, beautiful lawn should be enjoyed by the whole family. That's why we offer a kid and pet-friendly program to create a healthier, greener, weed-free lawn that your whole family can enjoy. Our program includes effective applications of targeted weed control and slow-release golf course quality fertilizer to achieve real results. Call or click today for your free quote, or sign up now and see the Weedman difference. Doesn't your family deserve a Weedman lawn?
Hello, I'm Gary Canolti, inviting News 3 Now viewers to join me on a fabulous New England and St. Lawrence Seaway cruise September 8th through the 18th. Experience the history and beauty of the Atlantic coast, Canadian maritime provinces, and the famous St. Lawrence Seaway aboard our delightful Holland America ship for a 7-night scenic cruise. Visit holidayvacations.com, keyword WISC, to learn more about this tour or call 888-557-1020 for a free brochure.
Save big on gas Friday, April 1st during Hy-Vee's annual April Fuels Day sale. Earn a 50-cent fuel saver for every $50 purchase. Spend $100, get $1 off per gallon of gas. Friday, April 1st, only at Hy-Vee.
To stay in Madison for one more year or to turn pro. That's what's been on the mind of Johnny Davis since Wisconsin's season came to an end in the NCAA tournament. And he'll make that decision sometime between 2 and 3 tomorrow on ESPN's NBA Today. And with a name like that, you can read between the lines on what he's going to do. Now, today, Davis was named a Wooden Award finalist and a Wooden Award All-American. Other Badger basketball news, Ben Carlson has put his name in the transfer portal. The sophomore forward played in 39 games during his 2 years in Madison, finishing with 72 career points and 71 career rebounds at Wisconsin. Carlson is the second member of this year's team to announce he's transferring. After a huge come-from-behind win last night where the Bucks closed the gap on the Heat in the Eastern Conference standings, in a game where Giannis scored 40 and had the game-sealing block, Giannis started his post-game press conference the only way he could, with a dad joke.
Let's open now with a joke. What do you call a cow on the floor? Anybody know? Ground beef. That's it.
Keanu Benton is the guy in Wisconsin's defense this year, and he's taking his leadership role to heart. On the way to spring practice, the Janesville native has been listening to audiobooks like Tim Grover's Relentless, From Good to Great to Unstoppable, to help him get into the right mindset to lead by example. And 4 practices in, the Badgers are seeing a different Benton, one that's attacking spring ball with a purpose.
I wasn't trying to be in his ear about it because, you know, I want what's best for my boy, but when he came back and told me that he was coming back, I was like, all right, let's make it shake, because he's like, you know, we've been waiting 3 years to start with each other.
He's continuing to not just come back and work on those areas that needs improvement, areas, you know, I won't call them weaknesses, but he's also pushing it into the red in terms of his strengths, right? Like, he's not satisfied in any area.
And a couple weeks after getting Tom Brady to come out of retirement and back to Tampa Bay, Bruce Arians is stepping down as the head coach of the Buccaneers to work in the team's front office as a senior consultant for football. The franchise did announce that Todd Bowles will be the next head coach of the Bucs. We're back after this.
This is your invitation to experience all the feelings inspired by Lexus at the Invitation to Lexus sales event.
Oh no, did I miss the exit?
Hey pal, you look a little lost. What? You know your smartphone has GPS, don't you?
Yeah, but I'm driving right now. Let's text your sister to see if she's texting. Okay, look, I'll help. I've got a map. Okay. I am done with this distraction.
Not my hairdryer. Hey, no! Ah, that's distracting. Okay, uncle.
Focus on driving, not the distractor.
Find me a new driver.
Get lost. For decades, Washington politicians have promised to lower the cost of prescription drugs. But every year the prices go up. Why? Because Republicans like Ron Johnson, and let's be honest, too many Democrats don't have the guts to stand up to the pharmaceutical companies. I'm Sarah Godlewski, and I will. I want to bring practical solutions to Washington. That's what I've done as state treasurer. I'm Sarah Godlewski, and the big drug companies may not approve this message, but I do.
Fresh out of Papa Murphy's kitchen, the Buffalo Ranch Chicken Pizza.
Actually, it's fresh out of my oven.
Dad, it's just an expression.
Grilled chicken, crunchy bacon, covered in creamy buffalo sauce. Now that is an expression.
Change the way you pizza.
This is Dave. He thought he'd save money by getting internet from one company and TV from, well, from multiple providers. You see, Dave and his wife watch live TV, Ella her favorite kid shows, and Henry loves sports. It was costing Dave a lot. So Dave switched to Spectrum. Switch to Spectrum Internet and TV from $49.99 per month each. Call 833-841-4999. Spectrum Internet with speeds at 200 megabits includes a free modem and free online security software. And Spectrum TV with over 125 channels includes live local news and regional sports and up to 85,000 on-demand titles. Plus, with the free Spectrum TV app, everyone can stream on their devices anywhere. So now Dave has one bill, one provider, no contracts, and is saving a ton. Be like Dave. Switch to Spectrum Internet and TV from $49.99 per month each. Call 833-841-4999 or visit spectrum.com.
When war breaks out,
I don't know what will happen.
until a local couple takes action to help their Ukrainian friends.
We need to get her to the United States.
Susan Simon shares the powerful story of two families bonded by compassion. Thursday on News 3 Now at 10.
This is your invitation to experience all the feelings inspired by Lexus at the Invitation to Lexus sales event.
Call for action only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Finally tonight, you have an hour and a half left to celebrate. Today is National Virtual Vacation Day. I had no idea. There are so many ways to make this work. Do a Google search for somewhere you have always wanted to go. Sift through pictures. Immerse yourself in the scenery. Check out local attractions. Research local fare. And if you're feeling particularly adventurous, why don't you whip up a traditional dish?
And Gary will go along with you.
That's about the only vacation I'm going to get right now, just a virtual one.
Gary's aren't virtual vacations. Those are the real deal, right?
Yeah, well.
We all need a vacation right now, Gary. Yeah. I just got back.
Especially with,
24 hours later.
Not having to deal with snow, but we will be tonight. You can see rain moving in from the south and west, and that will change over to snow later tonight. Temperatures right now getting closer to freezing over southwestern Wisconsin. That changeover probably about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. About 1 to 3 or 4 inches of snow, slushy snow from Madison northward. Winter weather advisories in effect from 4 a.m. until noon for Dane County and areas to the north.
Maybe a little extra time in that commute tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Producer now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.